detective. Thrill me.
Happy New Year to everyone. Managed to keep the lights on for another season of this stuff. How were you gents at New Year's?
Yeah, good, mate. Low key.
Kept it low key? No one got maggot or anything like that? No?
I'm very old, mate.
No.
I was at home. I'm not in bed, but I stayed up for the festivities playing PS4. And we went to a party and we were home by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Kids in
Yeah.
bed.
I was asleep by 10.
Yep.
I had plenty of brews, but I made love to them. I didn't slam any of them very quickly.
You enjoyed the shit out
I
of it.
did.
Alright, well this first episode of this year, we're going with Netflix original from the end of last year. So I think it was 22nd December. Yeah. Bright, latest Will Smith film. I think it's Netflix's biggest budgeted film. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
90 mil.
90 mil.
That's a good budget.
That is that's a
Will got
blockbuster
50.
budget.
Yeah. Netflix is just throwing it away at the moment.
Yeah.
But before that, let's do a quick whip round. I'll go first because I had a couple of things on the slate. Got back into The Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
A couple more episodes of that. Yeah. Not bad.
You still not finished?
Same.
Ticking
No.
along?
It's again, it's one of these shows that I've sort of... The first couple of episodes grabbed me,
Yeah.
and then I kind of lost interest,
It's
and
a
I
lot
went
of
on
the
to
same
something
thing.
else.
Yeah.
And I come back to it, and again, I got a couple of episodes in, and again it started to grab me, and then I went off to something else. So it's just a little bit up and down.
It's another one that could have gone with 8 episodes.
Good thing is I got back onto Stranger Things. Did 3 more episodes on the trot, and it's starting to come
We
good for
told
me.
ya.
I still think that it's not as good as it
They'll never
was.
get the lightning in the bottle factor of
No.
season 1. That's the thing.
And basically, we are regurgitating material that was there last year, but it works. And some of this stuff, that stuff where they sort of tool up their little bus and try and draw the little
Dart
Dart
These
to them.
Yeah.
that stuff was great. Like that was genuinely tense sort of stuff. So I really appreciate what they're doing, and I think it's now starting to ramp up, which is good. I actually watched another couple of Netflix originals. Me and the wife sort of went through a couple of them. One was called To the Bone. It was about anorexia.
Yeah, I've looked at it a couple of times.
And look, it's interesting, but I thought there was a message in there, and there probably was, but I just felt it was a really muddled sort of effort. Like some real good actors in there, and it's well made. Just felt like it didn't really. There wasn't much payoff at the end. There wasn't really much to it. It gets to the end, and you're kind of like, oh, so that's it, But it was okay. We watched another one that was kind of like a teenage Fatal Attraction. It was called You Get Me.
Sounds great.
It was also a Netflix original.
Is Freddie Prinze Jr. in it as a 19-year-old?
No, Freddie Prinze Jr. But it was... It did... Nobody got hurt. I need those stakes raised. I need people killed. Like, that's how you do these things.
Twist an ankle in a chase or
Yeah,
something.
I want something. It just kind of felt like, look, I'm watching you, and I'm sort of, telling people that we had an affair, or I'm pregnant, or something like that, but not much else.
So it's more of a swim fan than a Fatal Attraction.
I haven't seen Swim Fan, but I
Don't.
get the feeling
skip
it's
it.
probably in that realm. Knocked over the rest of season 4 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Excellent.
Except for the first 2. Yeah.
After getting off to a real dud of a start, it really came home well. And I actually think the way it ended was interesting.
Oh, Riley was just beyond pissed off.
Yeah.
She's like, they can't do that
Yeah,
to
but
us.
I just like the way it ended. I just
It's a
think
good
that,
cliffhanger,
again,
man.
It's
Yep.
sort of gone down that road. And I watched one called The Autopsy of Jane Doe. It had Brian Cox in it.
Yeah, I've heard that's really good.
Really good. Really, really cool. Like, they find this girl dead in this...
Where did you find this?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, Ripper.
Yep.
I've been hunting it down for a while.
And basically they find her body at a murder scene, but buried in beneath the house. Everyone else has been butchered.
Yeah.
Or it's a shootout or something, a drug thing, and then she's naked, buried beneath the house. So they start doing the autopsy that night, and they start uncovering all sorts of weird shit that shouldn't be there,
Yeah, right.
And
I haven't heard of it.
It's really good. Yeah, it actually was very impressive. very much worth a look.
That's good to
it.
hear.
Jared.
Right, well, I watched a couple of Christmas ones that
Ooh.
hadn't been mentioned.
Sorry. Before you get started, I watched A Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life.
Ah, right.
It's also on Netflix.
Yep.
Bit long.
Didn't know that.
It's actually pretty well made for the
Wasn't such a wonderful life
1940s.
at about the 100-minute mark. Or?
Because I've seen a couple of older flicks from that period, and they're very static. Like there's not a lot of movement. Cameras sit there, and people just
Walk
come
around
and do
in front of it.
Yeah. This one was pretty well. There was a lot more camera movement, a lot more editing. So it was a pretty impressive bit of work for its time. It's actually kind of dark though. I'm thinking Christmas film. I'm thinking, but there's talk of suicide and things like that in there, and I'm thinking, no, I didn't expect that. But it wasn't too bad.
Right. Very good.
What did you get on to?
I watched The Grinch, the cartoon version,
Right.
with the kids. Yeah, wasn't bad. I watched Elf.
Yeah, that's
Didn't we all?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's a few laughs. Yeah,
I forgot I had to sit through that again this year.
yeah. The highlight of the Christmas period for me was Jingle All the Way.
Oh, jeez. He did it anyway.
I did.
Did you watch Santa's Sleigh as well?
No, I didn't watch
did
that. Look, Arnie doesn't get kicked in the ball, but he does get tasered in the anus, so that's something. Pretty close to the gooch. It's close. It might have been a tingle on the sack, so that probably counts.
So I need to have something done near my taint.
I'm not going to lie. That's going in the yearlies because it's just.
You're a sick man.
Well, it's a combination of. There's scenes of Arnie just stranded out at sea when he's got to act. And it's not his usual. He doesn't have the quips and things to fall back on. One scene in particular is when he's trying to apologise to his son, and then starts, trying to do the karate that his son's doing, and it's just, it's shambolic to take your term, Adam. But
I'm going to have a look because I've only seen bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, but then there's this relationship with Sinbad where Sinbad is essentially psychotic, but then him and Arnie keep bumping into each other and then consoling each other. They haven't got this toy. Then they're trying to kill each other, literally. It's just bonkers, man. But it's highly entertaining. Arnie knocks out a reindeer too. Well, it does. I don't know. He gives it an uppercut. I don't know whether he knocks it unconscious or not, but it's highly entertaining.
Goes Roberto Duran on it.
It's absolutely batshit crazy, but yeah. I had good fun with it.
God.
I went to the cinemas and saw Coco. Loved it.
Yeah.
One of Pixar's best in quite some time, I reckon. It was one of my favourite movies that I've seen, probably of the year. I loved it. The kids didn't like it so much because it does deal with some heavy things. It's set around like the Mexican Day of the Dead. So it deals with dead relatives and crossing over to the other side and all this sort of stuff. But excellent movie. I loved it. I started Wolf Creek season 2. So I got one episode into that. 6-episode season again, I think.
How'd that go?
Is it annoying the way they're doing it now without the original car? Like, I don't understand. I like Lucy Fry.
Yeah, well, she's good. I like her. It's just the whole concept is different now. There's a fucking tour group. The first episode was okay, but I just see him going like Jason Voorhees now.
Yeah,
I can't see how this is gonna. I mean, he's on a bus with fucking 15 people or something. I don't know how it's going to...
He's on the bus with them?
Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but he ends up on the bus. So I don't see how it can be anything bar he's turning full slasher now.
Look,
And I mean, some of the people on the bus are... One of them's a military man. So I just don't know where it's going to go. I can't write it off yet, but...
I don't know about you, but I mean, I thought the first movie was okay and had its moments, but I had no interest in the sequel, and I don't see how we've managed to get seasons worth of TV out of this.
The sequel was actually good. I thought the sequel was pretty good.
The sequel is good. I really like the first one because it was a surprise too.
Yeah. But now it's kind of like you've gone from taking a very scary idea and mixing in some elements of real people that are just scare the hell out of me. To be honest, and it's now you're taking it to slasher route. It just doesn't feel like that's where.
Well, it feels like he can't die now.
Yeah,
After the
and I
end
mean,
of
he
the
had
season.
the season 1, he had the origin story filled in, and yeah, it's exactly that. The end of season 1 is essentially like a Friday the 13th or a Halloween, or like how the fuck did he come back? So yeah, look, I'll watch it again, but it just, I don't know, that the jarring part for me was if that's the direction it's going, if it's going a bit sort of slasher, then that demeanour of his doesn't seem to fit.
It's pointless, yeah.
Yeah, like he sits down and talks to the bus driver at one point and just does the old, oh, maybe I should get myself a tour gig and all that sort of stuff, and the bus driver gives him, oh, you might have to brush up on the language or something, mate, because he's been swearing, and then he just fucking does that stare that he does, and well, you go and get fucked and all this sort of stuff, and it's like that really worked initially and was fucking creepy.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be like an everyman that would just snap.
Yeah, and the whole tone of that first film was completely different. Now it's just sort of like, I don't think it fits. But I don't know. Could turn around.
Could wow you.
Could wow me for the
I
next
was very
5
nervous
episodes.
when they said they weren't going to continue her arc, because she was the glue that held the first one together.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. The first one was really uneven, but I thought she was pretty good. She was probably the best thing about it.
You just don't really get a like you just see her walking off into the distance in the end of the first one. It's just like, oh, okay, that's the last you hear of her then. Like,
Yep.
seems like a shame. But
I also got onto a Netflix original, The Babysitter. The one that's directed by McGee and Samara Weaving's in it.
is it McGee?
Yeah.
So he's actually done something that people like now.
Yeah,
Anybody who calls themselves Mick fucking G, I'm not interested.
That's
Well,
what
I
thought
think
the
you're
whole
going to have to get interested, mate, because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good
I've
fun.
heard really good things about
It's
it.
it's stupid, but it just sort of embraces it and gets a few good laughs, and I liked it. It was a nice little sort of. I wasn't expecting nothing. Didn't really know. I didn't check Rotten Tomatoes or anything beforehand. I just saw it and said, sounds like what I want to see. I sat there and enjoyed the hell out of it. So yeah, I watched Night at the Museum because my son really wanted to see it.
I'm very sorry
He
about that.
loved it, and I subsequently had to purchase the box.
Oh no!
But yeah, look, it's not great, but it's a bit of fun for a kids movie.
Yeah, well, it's a kids movie.
How many is there now? There's only two.
There's three.
There's three now.
Yeah, there's three of them.
Last couple of performances of Robin
I'll
Williams.
fill you in once I've worked my way
I've
through.
seen bits of 1 and 2. I didn't know there was a third.
Yeah, it was what
It's
it was.
basically the kids' American treasure, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, pretty
National
much.
Treasure,
Yeah, pretty much. I watched the 2 Chappelle specials, the new ones on Netflix. The first one, the Equanimity. Is that what it's called? Equanimity. I liked that one. I thought it was a bit more focused. It contained some shit that he probably should, reconsider some parts of. But the second one was filled with a lot more of that, and I didn't find it as funny.
very serious for long stretches.
Yeah, very serious.
Very soapboxy.
Yeah, and he's still like captivating when he talks, and he makes some really great points. But it's not. The second one's not as funny, and he does say some shit where you just kind of like, I can't agree with that. I can't go along with it. I can't laugh about jokes about that. But yeah, there are across more from the first one, I reckon. There are some gems that would go up with some of his best work.
The early part of the first one, I was just losing my shit.
Yeah.
Extended periods.
Like stovepipe stuffing.
All that stuff, man. He's like, and like you said, he's really well thought out a lot of the time. Like, he's clearly a smart guy. But some of the stuff he said, whether or not it was just because he was just winging it, because he said he had that issue when he was first talking to people about some of the Trump stuff.
Yep.
Just sort of spewing it in the mouth and sort of goes down an alleyway and then tries to come back. It feels like there's a little bit of that in there, but because they're on my list too. They're funny in bits, but some of the bits I was just like, oh, David,
Yeah.
maybe take a deep breath, mate.
Yeah, some of the things, like, it's just, in a way, you kind of like, he's hit this point where you sort of expect it because of all the shit that he went through and the fact that he's come back through it. You kind of expect a little bit.
He's clearly
out
still
there.
dirty on it though.
Yeah, but
he brings it up a bunch.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'd watch him if you're a fan of his. You'll get some laughs out of him, but you just get there's this undercurrent of cranky old man that never used to be there so much. Bitter, yeah. And the last thing I watched, which was really good, was one of the best things I watched, was the Toys That Made Us.
Oh yeah, I
stuff
saw that on Netflix. It's got a bit of He-Man, I believe.
Yeah, He-Man's on there. I even watched the episode on Barbie because I was just like, there's 4 episodes. I enjoyed the hell out of the other one, so I'm just going to watch it. It was good too.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it holds a interest for me because A, we grew up in that time and we're familiar with a lot of those toys. But B, I'm a bit of a collector of some things myself, so it just hit right in the pocket for me. It was excellent. It was really, really good. And the Star Wars one especially goes into the specifics of the deal with Lucas and how Kenner had an absolute gem of a deal, and when Hasbro swooped in and bought Kenner, they fucked it up. They fucked it up massively. This thing was in perpetuity and they just forgot to do one thing.
Essentially, how much that cost?
So not to take up too much time, but essentially when Kenner first negotiated it, everyone had passed because Star Wars wasn't out.
Yeah.
Everyone had passed. Mattel, Hasbro, they'd all passed. So Kenner came in and said, we want it, but they had all the leverage. So the deal was Kenner got 95% and Lucas got 2.5%, and I can't even remember who made it. Got the other 2.5%. 20th Century Fox got the other 2.5%. The deal was they had the rights for good. All they had to do was make $10,000 worth of toy for George Lucas or cut him a check for $10,000. Hasbro come in and buy Kenner after 86, I think 86 or 87 was Kenner's last round of toys, because that was when the third Star Wars had finished and Lucas said, I'm not going to make any more. So in between that and the prequels, Kenner being a small company, Hasbro bought them up.
Okay.
And they didn't pay the $10,000 one year. So the
And
deal reverted, and the next deal Lucas got 18%. And Hasbro, I think, might have also had to come to the party with a sort of sweetheart check to get the deal in motion. So, yeah. Can you imagine getting 95% of the Star Wars merchandise?
Oh, my God.
Forever.
And that was almost immediately after he cut that deal, prequels.
Yeah.
I'm making more Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
So, Lucas played his hand pretty smartly, but whoever at Hasbro made that error,
They would have been fired.
they would have been fired. The He-Man one's really good too.
Check.
Oh, man.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
the He-Man one's really good too, because they actually said the Star Wars movies to that point when they filmed it had made $7 billion. The merchandise had made 14. So that's the kind of money they're talking. Yeah, the He-Man one was really good too. It kind of fills in some of that stuff.
Any of the Toy Masters?
It does, but it leaves it very. It goes for about 2 minutes and then says, right, we're gonna move on from there. Can we all move on? And gets a couple of guys say, yeah, we move on. But some of the stories are piss funny, like how they wanted 3 vehicles, but after 2 they ran out of tooling money to create new stuff. So this guy who worked on the big Jim action figures found the Tiger and goes, fucking sort that out. That's a vehicle. And so one of the guys painted it green. He goes back in and he says, look, it's out of scale with the figure. It's like a horse. And he said, if it's a horse, put a fucking saddle on it. And that's how they got Battle Cat.
Yes.
It's really
awesome.
good. Like, it's well worth the viewing. Like, it's funny. It's informative. But yeah, I haven't watched the G.I. Joe one yet. But yeah, even the Barbie one was interesting enough. It wasn't my favourite because it didn't hold the interest of the actual toy lines. But excellent series. And I hope they do more.
That Battle Cat thing, because every little bloke had a Battle
Yeah,
Cat.
yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah, it's awesome. Really good. Really good.
Because they were too tight to make an actual toy.
Yeah. And that's me.
Okay.
Yeah,
A little bit of overlap with you blokes, so I'll just skip over a few. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, awesome. I did the Dave Chappelle specials, obviously. I watched the last night, the Transformers movie with Dylan. It's terrible.
How does your son go to see
He
it?
loves it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's big robots smashing shit and blowing stuff up, and he can't see the writing and everything in those movies is just fucked.
I guess he doesn't have to at this point.
Yeah, he's sitting there going, this guy's awesome, and you're there going, what's his motivation? Like, what's
Mate, all
going
that. People at home now, because I'm watching movies more and more like this and just seeing the problems. No one will watch anything with me. Riley's like, can you just shut up and watch the movie? And I was watching something with my cousin the other night. Actually, no, it was my cousin as well at her house. We were watching the last night, and she said, "Oh, this is really good." And I'm like, "Are you retarded? Are you actually retarded?" Because honestly, I was walking out of the room with bits because I was getting angry and I was going to ruin it for everybody else. Oh, mate, I just don't know how they get away with it.
That makes money.
The writers' room's got 14 more for you, buddy.
No, they're not getting that. They're lucky to get one more.
He's got scenes in there with all the stuff that's going on in Hollywood at the moment.
Yeah, Bumblebee and... Why?
Fuck. Well, there's a lot of seeding in this for that because they're talking about Bumblebee and World War II and all that sort of shit, and they're clearly doing the like we did with Wonder Woman. Go back and no thanks.
So you say why, Adam? But out of the three people here, one of them's purchased it or paid some form of fee.
No, she pirated it.
Oh, pirated it. I made up for it because I purchased the fucking thing.
You purchased the box, didn't you? Or, no, the only one you don't have
never. Even if Dylan said, "Can we go watch this at cinemas, Dad?" I'd say no on principle.
Mate,
I'm going to take him.
Push bike. Off you go.
I said I'd take him to Pacific Rim 2 in the cinemas. Fine. I'm not going to watch a Transformers movie. They can fuck right off. It's so poor. And I don't think Pacific Rim's going to be good, but it's like his favourite movie, like it's his go-to.
I kind of hope one day Michael Bay accidentally calls your mobile and cops a spray like
like the guys with bloody Foxtel.
Or the internet, it was really, it's honestly that bad. Just there's everything about the movie. It's got the worst.
What did you say your name was? Michael Bay. Let me tell you something, Nick.
A few words.
Yeah, he's going to be doing that. He's just going to be sitting there, ladies in the ladies have some nice champagne popping off. I'm in the middle of a party.
He'll say, "Yeah, I'll take it on board, mate."
Like there's even a bit in it. There's a girl in it, and I'm guessing like they don't really specify, but she looks like she's maybe 14, 15 range. And there's bits in the movie where she's running in slow motion. Yeah. And it's like, what is wrong with this bloke? Yeah. Like she's a pretty girl, right? She's obviously going to be really pretty at one, but she's a kid. Yeah. Just fucking rein it in, Michael. It doesn't need to be slow motion because she's got a crop top on, mate. Like. Yeah. Oh, I was angry anyway.
I lost interest after the second film.
On a better note, a mate told me to check out Designated Survivor on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
watched heaps of it.
I hear that's good.
Absolutely, just smashing it in. It is really good. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot sort of more basic, and it's pretty. It's kind of like a what's it called, like Olympus Has Fallen sort of thing, but with brains a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of the actual politics side of it, but it's pretty good. That's worth a look. And then the other one. Riley, for whatever reason, was really interested. She watched the whole first season of The Crown, and she's telling me it's good, and I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to be interested. And we started watching season 2, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. I cannot stand royalty, but some of the shit those pricks get up to, it's entertaining as hell. Yeah. They live the life, mate.
Yeah.
Like, that Philip...
Yeah.
He is the bachelor of all bachelors, and he's married to the Queen. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's actually decent though. Like it's worth a look. So I don't know if I'll go back and watch season 1 because it's too late now, sort of thing. But it was a surprise anyway. And then I watched the live action Beauty and the Beast with Jada.
And how's that?
It's basically the exact animated movie, but in live action. It's fine. I mean,
so Disney's just
if you've seen the animated
down.
if you've seen the animated one, there is no reason to watch the live action other than to look at Emma Watson.
Is that Kenneth Branagh? Well, that was Cinderella.
No, I think
he directed Cinderella.
Yeah,
I think Beauty and the Beast was a female director, wasn't it?
I don't think Beauty and the Beast was Branagh. No. Yeah, I did the same thing. Yeah, I watched it with my daughter, and I was like, "Yeah, it's good." The story was good, but it is the same thing. So.
I remember before it came out, they did a bunch of side by sides of showing the animated bit, and they did a really good job of doing that. And obviously, Emma Watson casting for Belle is perfect, but you don't need to watch it. If you've seen the first one, you could skip it and you'd be fine.
Yeah, it's not like the Jungle Book where you kind of there was however many years between the movie, the animated one, and the
Jungle Book was a totally different movie though.
And it was a similar story, same beats, but the effects on their own of how they got the animals to do it was one reason.
It's still the best I've seen.
Would you also have seen it the same movie if you'd watched the Ron Perlman Linda Hamilton TV show?
I remember that. I love that show.
He had an elongated fucking head.
He looked like the paddle pop line.
No, I thought he looked like that lady that had that too much plastic surgery. She's got the
Wildenstein or Wolfenstein or whatever that name is. Look, that show stunk.
It was terrible. But I used to stay up like sneaking.
I was sneaking down to watch Chances.
That's right. Yeah, Nazis and boobs and all sorts of vampires. What are vampires on Chances? The Beauty and the Beast TV show, the new one, is on Stan, I think.
Was there a new one?
There was a new one. The girl from, what was her name? Christina Crook or whatever, the girl from Smallville. Yeah, so I think it's got through 3 seasons.
No, it could do. It could not have.
I haven't seen
I
that.
haven't even heard of it. I haven't
Check it out. Dreams.
Check it out.
I mean, but then again, I recently heard the 6 seasons of Teen Wolf. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
How
And
they
it's
get that?
well received.
I know.
No thanks.
I'm out of the loop.
Yeah.
That's it for me
I've
for
been
the
too busy
movies.
watching 6 seasons of Arrow instead.
Yeah.
Have you
It's going
wished
from
you had?
strength to strength.
Sometimes.
I believe it's turned to shit, hasn't it?
A little bit. More Dolph needed.
Not enough Dolph. I believe the Flash has also turned to shit, hasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I never liked the Flash. It's too kiddie for me. It's just so bubblegum. I couldn't get into it at all. The crossovers with it and Arrow were annoying, and nah, I'm out. That was it for me for the movies, but I had one other thing I was going to just quickly mention. I know.
This is interesting.
Mystery.
I'm
Just on the video game side,
Oh.
we will throw a few things here and there. I got the most recent Assassin's Creed a little while ago, and I was a bit nervous at the start. This is like back to the
So you should
Origins.
be after some of their recent ones.
Well, yeah, and because it's exactly the same game over and over again, and this one they've done a way better job. All the little side missions and stuff, they've solved a lot of problems where it's not just the same thing over and over again. The stories,
Egypt this time? Yeah.
and so there's nowhere near as much of the flashing back to the present with the the computers and shit. Yeah, they've gotten rid of a lot of that because you're sort of before all of that stuff came in.
Yeah.
It's so much better. But just the little side missions where you have to go and do different things, it's all different. It's not go climb this tower. It's really
You
good.
sold me because I
Yeah.
did see it on sale this week, so I might I'll
'Cause
have to
at
dive
the
in.
start of it, I'm like, this is just more of the same, and it's a totally different control package now as well. All the combat and everything's different, but like I've played most of them, but I got started on Syndicate and just couldn't even be bothered. I'm just like, there's no point. The last one I really enjoyed was probably Black Flag. 'cause
Yeah,
of the
that
pirate
was the last
stuff.
one I liked. Yeah.
But this one's really good. Yeah,
Good to hear. I
It's
thought you were
worth
going to say you watched the Assassin's Creed movie, and
Nope.
I'm going to tell you just don't worry about it.
I will
Don't
watch
watch
it
about that
because
one.
I have to, but I have not yet. No, you just reminded me. That's
Good lord.
Probably gotta
I'd
get
like to
it
ask someone what it was like, but I don't think anyone went and saw it. So it's just a bit
Dylan's hit me up about
ground.
that a bunch of times. He's like, Dad, can we watch the Assassin's Creed movie yet? I'm like,
Good lord, mate.
How about we watch
Let me tell you something.
something else?
Fassbender, for such a good actor, he has got a resume that you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy.
no, he's
would
done
ya?
some absolute shit. Talk about peaks and valleys.
The Snowman, though, they reckon it's the worst movie of last year. They said it was just trash.
Well, I watched the trailer for it and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's just stupid. Oh, is it a serial killer? Is it supernatural? Like, I couldn't tell.
It's Jack Frost.
Anyway, that's it for me.
If only. All right. We'll take a break, and here's the trailer for 2017's Bright.
Why is there a fairy in the bird feeder again?
Good afternoon, officer. Fairy lives don't matter today. That's it right there. Now take the little homie out LAPD style like you do.
Oh, and you keep doing all your gangster stuff. I'm just trying to sell my house. Don't worry about that.
Everybody's just trying to get along and have a good life. All of the races are different. Just because they're different doesn't mean anybody's better or worse than anybody.
Hey, where's the diversity hire?
I got a dude in my car. I didn't ask for it, but the whole world is watching. Boy, it's okay if you don't like me. Man, I'm not out here to be your friend. I need to know if shit pop off that you got my back.
Can't hide it, Wood. Humans have physical tells. Like the face.
What's my face?
The human who needs a lot more conjugal love type face.
Do not wink at me like that.
All Westlake units requesting assistance.
3 Adam 9, show us en route.
Shouldn't we wait for the cavalry? We are the cavalry. What is it? That's a magic wand. This is like a nuclear weapon that grants wishes. That's whatever you want. You want to be taller or shorter? You want $10 million? You're not stealing that wand.
Days
of this neighborhood. They're gonna kill you, then me. And that's when the stupid shit's gonna start.
The magic wand. We have to secure it.
They don't teach that at the academy.
No, they do not. They're gonna keep coming. Let's do it.
Some days I can't get out of my head. That's just the dark side of me.
We might be in a prophecy. We're not in a prophecy. We're in a stolen Toyota Corolla.
Bright from 2017, directed by David Ayer, who directed Suicide Squad and Fury. Produced by David Ayer, Eric Newman, Ted Sandros, and Brian Euclid. I believe Ted Sandros is involved with Netflix.
Yeah, the boss.
Yeah. And it's written by Max Landis, who did Chronicle and American Ultra. It stars Will Smith as Ward, Joel Edgerton as Jacoby, and Noomi Rapace as Leah. Budget of 90 million or 100. I think it's somewhere in that vicinity, 90 to 100.
90.
And box office, well, it was released directly to Netflix. So I think it was about 11 million viewers, I think they got over the first 3 days. So not too bad. If you were releasing that in the cinemas, you're probably looking at about 40 million opening, something like that.
It's hard to know how they quantify what they're actually getting back for a movie for people that are already subscribing to it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Because there's no pay.
They always sort of aim for new subscribers, but then it's like, so once you've cornered the market and have a shitload of subscribers,
then you're not worried about
what do you?
more of it.
Yeah, so it's then keeping them. So I guess this is where it moves into the next phase of creating all that original material to make sure people are going to stay and get season 3 of Stranger Things. I'm staying.
Now, Max Landis sold the script for this for $3.5 million.
Congratulations, sir.
That's very, very expensive for a script. I think back in the late 80s, early 90s, they were throwing money around like it was going out of fashion. Didn't Shane Black get paid $4 million for Long Kiss Goodnight? And that was in the early 90s.
What a script, though.
Didn't turn out to be that great a film, unfortunately. All right. I'm going to go first here. This is certainly not the worst movie I've ever seen, and I don't know why people seem to have classed it in that arena, because I've seen reviews that are absolutely scathing. It's got problems, but I kind of like the ideas that they sort of mash together. It just doesn't quite work out, because they have some interesting ideas and then they kind of go away from them, and I think it's probably middle of the road. I went just slightly over halfway and went for 3 out of 5. Watchable, but needs work.
Right.
Jared?
I'm of similar thinking. It's flawed in a lot of ways, but to say that parts of it weren't enjoyable is just, I don't know. I feel like there's this need now to write a review and to separate yourself. You've got to go with, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, or like you got to put some spin on it to get yours noticed. As I said to you earlier, it's not the worst movie I've watched this year. Yeah. It's only a few days old, so
God,
yeah, it's heavily flawed, but it's got some alright ideas. Some of the action stuff works okay. Some of the stuff between Will Smith and Joel Edgerton works okay. Like you, I thought some of the ideas were interesting, but the execution of them is just poor in some parts. The class and race commentary stuff that I thought was going to be present is just either not there or just really poorly handled. So yeah, I think 2.5 is probably fair.
It's kind of throwaway, a lot of that race stuff. But Gibbo?
Yeah, I'm right there with Jared. 2.5. Pretty much everything you guys have said. I like some of the acting performances in it. I dislike some of the other ones. Some of the stuff they're trying to say about race and people's place in society and stuff can go places and then sort of doesn't. As Jared said, some of the action scenes are actually pretty good. But it just feels like one of those movies where you watch it and then you're pretty much just like, well, that's done. I'll never think about that movie ever again. but I think it's good that Netflix is doing this sort of stuff, and like they should be commended, and hopefully they'll keep doing it. The big budget stuff. I think it's good that they're getting such prominent actors to do this sort of stuff now. Like Will Smith's, for all his faults, he's still a pretty big name for Netflix to be getting.
And I'd pay $90 million for another one movie like this before I'd pay for another 4 Adam Sandler movies.
or another $250 million for another Transformers abomination.
Yeah.
Like you said about the worst movies. Like I watched the last night, the Transformers. He's fucking, like, for what they spend on that, I'm sure they're getting their money back somewhere. But the idiots that are paying for that, I just don't understand it, and that's so much worse.
Guilty.
Than this. We found one. So 2.5. It's one of those movies you watch it, it's fine, it's entertaining for 2 hours, and then you're done with it. You know what I mean? So,
from a likes perspective, touching on the idea of diversity, I think that the overall idea of an orc police officer being, human department and being the first of, and the sort of shit he has to put up with. It kind of does have a little bit of grounding in today's society with female police officers and female military.
Yeah,
that there's those situations are present.
Yeah.
In our current law enforcement.
Yeah.
And so I liked that. I felt that was reasonably well handled.
If they're going that angle though, it could have been a female orc.
That would have probably worked better. In fact, that would have worked better. Because you could have even sort of pushed it home a little bit further.
But then you've got to deal with the whole thing about where you're doing a commentary about females and they're represented by orcs.
Yeah, so
there's no easy way.
There's probably, look, I think they dealt with it as best they could, and I think they were reasonably successful in that element, the diversity element. I think they actually came up with some reasonable stuff there.
Yep. I'd go short of calling it a like, but I think the idea, I liked the idea, but it just didn't get there, I felt.
The action stuff, well handled.
Especially the set pieces,
solid,
the big ones.
Solid.
And another like to me was, from a general perspective, was the visual effects. The movie looks $90 million. You
can see where the money
$90 million. It's all there.
One of the biggest likes for me was the appearance of the characters, like the orc makeup,
creature design and stuff.
Even the elves. I mentioned that Numi Rapace looked frighteningly like an elf. Like she was perfect for that, and so was Lucy Fry in her own way, and they kind of both fit that. There was something about looking at them in that makeup where it's kind of like, yep, she does look evil, and Tika does look
good. She's a good elf. She's a bad elf.
Yeah. I think you said it, that Tika looked like Tinkerbell, whereas the other one had a bit more of a kind of sinister.
Yeah.
And so basically, from a production standpoint, it's top of the line.
Yeah, that stuff was really good.
This is what you put in the cinema. This is your blockbuster sort of stuff.
Yep. Do you know how they did them? Was most of the orc makeup prosthetic?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that was probably my next one. If we're talking about general likes, like you just talk about the character design, but the fact that they can still get people to emote and stuff under that much makeup, like the Joel Edgerton character, Jacoby, he is, some of the stuff that he puts forth with his like facial expressions and stuff under what is a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
And it really works. Like he gets a lot across without using words in different scenes.
You get scenes where it's clear that he looks like anxious or like upset or
surprised.
Yeah, like you get
confused, all that sort of stuff, and he's getting it through with a lot of prosthetic, which is if that's going to keep going that way, you get away with anything in the future. Like make people look like whatever you want.
Absolutely. I think the acting, for the most part, is okay. Like it's a solid cast. There's nothing wrong with that cast. It works.
There's a few awards in the cast.
Big rap on Joel Edgerton.
Yeah,
I think
huge
he is
rap
fantastic.
on Edgerton.
He is really, really good.
Yeah, I think I would agree for the most part. And I've got I've mentioned it to you earlier, but I've got one exception. But for the most part, I thought the casting was really good.
Yeah, and in a way, when I heard Edgerton was in this, I was kind of like, is this really his bag?
Yeah.
Like, we had some discussions pre-doing this, and Gibbo and we were talking about Will Smith involvement. This reeks of Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like, this is Will Smith to the T. Whereas Joel Edgerton, I don't see him in these sorts of films. So when he was there, I was kind of like, maybe he's out of his depth. Maybe this isn't really for him.
Yeah.
But he gets the better character.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a lot more to do. That's
and he
for sure. He's got a
delivers
better
well
arc.
on it.
Yep.
He's really, really good.
Yep.
And the acting across the board, I mean, this is a good cast of professional actors. I think you're going to struggle to see real bad performances.
Some of them don't have much to do. Like Noomi Rapace has obviously done some really full-on stuff in her career.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a great deal to do here because she's pretty one-note, just like, I'm a bad motherfucker and I'm going to kill people. But she looks the part. Like, she really does the job.
She delivers in the
even the bloke who looks like Vidal Sassoon.
He does. You're talking about the magic FBI
the magic FBI officer.
Magic Task Force. That's right.
Edgar Ramirez, or his name is.
Wow.
Yeah, even those guys, they get, they don't get a lot to do, but they do what they can with the material.
Lucy Fry.
Can we wrap this up? I've got a hair appointment at 5.
I'd assume this would be Lucy Fry's first big, like, because it's a pretty big part. Like, it's obviously not a massive Hollywood thing, but it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
A young Australian actress, obviously from the Wolf Creek series on Stan. She's really good as well. She does a lot of stuff with not much as well. So.
Yeah. For me, going through the film now, rather than the generals, I think the opening credits are quite good. I get the idea they were going for. They're slightly clunky in the graffiti stuff, but I get what they were trying to do, and they give you a little bit of an understanding, I guess, in a general sense of the classes and the orcs and bloods and all that sort of stuff gets kind of touched on in the opening credits. Because I've read reviews that hated it.
Yeah, look,
it's basically just an info dump instead of doing like screenshots of like clippings from newspapers
or a
and shit.
scroll or something like that.
Yeah.
Look, I was half and half because I think it is a fairly natural way to show the state of your world,
especially in an urban landscape like that.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea, and I loved the song that went along with it. I kind of immediately that just grabbed me, and I was attentive. But the element that didn't really work was the graffiti. That was a little bit heavy-handed.
Yeah.
But I agree. I commend him on the idea.
Yeah.
If it had been executed a little better, it would have been one of the more memorable openings I'd seen in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a little bit heavy-handed, and kind of a couple of those graffiti things you see and you start kind of giggling. You see the Dark Lord, and it's supposed to be really intimidating and kind of showing that.
But it's in rainbow colours.
Yeah, and then you kind of look and say the Dark Lord, and you kind of like giggling at it, and
you should call him just the bad guy.
Yeah, the big bad. Like just
I also like the way we're presented with Ward's family.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a nice little piece.
It feels natural too.
And it feels, it's well acted. It feels like natural. Yeah, real natural. And it gives us just enough information about him and what he went through, being shot and all that. It shows all that, and it's quick and it's to the point. And then they throw in the fairy in the bird feeder, and so you realise we're not
bit of a curveball.
We're not on down the street.
Yeah,
we're slightly off.
Yeah, we're in a world, but it's a different world to what we're used to.
And so I like that. Yep. And that's where Will Smith's probably at his best in this film. Not to knock him, but because to me Edgerton sort of outshines him a bit. But
it's a lot to do with the writing too.
Will Smith looks comfortable here.
Yeah,
like this is where he
gets to use his charisma.
Yeah. The whole stuff about the police force angle mixed with the magic stuff, I actually think it works okay for the most part. I actually really like that police stuff. And I think David Ayer does it pretty well. Like, he's had his cock-ups.
Yeah.
Sabotage, rubbish. But even Street Kings, which was the one with Keanu Reeves, that was still okay.
Yeah.
And I think he does this stuff reasonably well. So I was happy with a lot of that early police work stuff, including that sequence in the
briefing.
Yeah, the briefing room.
Yeah.
I think the briefing room is actually pretty good.
Yeah. I thought the briefing room, it goes a little bit up and down with that stuff, but when it works, he's
and Edgerton
pretty
looks
good at
legitimately kind of
on edge. And,
he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah,
there's that whole bit where he goes, unless you find a robber under the table, and you're out looking, and he kind of looks, and it's kind of like he doesn't really know what to do with himself, and he looks because he thinks he should. But then when he realises I look like a dickhead, so I better sit back up.
Yeah.
The briefing room, I thought was that was the better part of that stuff. There was some down the line that I didn't like so much, but when especially when they're in the car together and they're doing the partners thing, that stuff's fine. For me, I thought that was okay. That's where, as you said, David Ayer kind of knows that stuff seemingly and just just puts it on screen quite well.
Yeah. And I do like the fact that at the end of that scene, we still get an understanding that Will Smith doesn't want to be in the car with the guy either.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be in there. You know, like, basically, just piss him off. You know?
Yeah.
And so you understand the dynamic is still not going to be that good with him. Like, it's not like Ward just took the gig on because he's a great bloke. And in fact,
he's not the shining light.
The sequences after that,
stuck with it.
Yeah, the sequences after that show he's actually quite flawed. He's lacking a bit of cash. He's, things are tight at home.
Yep.
And the internal investigations or internal affairs or whatever basically put him up to recording it.
Yeah.
And he goes ahead with it.
I really like that the IA, the stuff about IA planting the seed of doubt and poking a couple of holes in Jacoby's story.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty decent way to go. You're not questioning it too much because it's like, the incident is... We're removed from the incident. Will Smith's back after a layoff, obviously injured. So they've had time to sort this shit out. So they come in and ask a couple of questions, and it's obvious that they're kind of running with this, as you said, the diversity angle. We can't just flick him, but if we got reason,
we can do it.
We can get rid of him.
Yeah.
And we know you want to get rid of him. And Will Smith is kind of like, but he's not just going to go along with it. But as you said, he kind of rolls over a little bit because he's got his own shit to deal with, and it introduces a little bit of a wedge introduces a little bit of drama between Jacoby and Ward.
Yeah. And I dug all that. And then that segues into probably the best sequence of the film, which is when they get called out to... Is it a shooting or something?
Yeah, so just shooting at like a drug den. Sort of
and it's immediately...
Oh, it's the gunman.
Shots are fired and suddenly it's on.
That's right, yep.
And then we get the dirty cops and the magic wand and all that stuff comes into play. And for about half an hour there, it's fucking awesome. Like, it's really impressive.
Yeah, they have that sequence outside the house that gets a bit of the work between Jacoby and Ward going, like that whole thing about how the fuck can you make a shootout awkward, and the whole car chase in between that sort of stuff works okay.
Yeah.
As you said, like that, it was sort of half an hour where I was right into it.
Yes.
And that was kind of the part that just sort of convinced me, that just said, look, whoever said this is the worst movie, I'm not going with that. I can't go with that because there's some merit to some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Getting back to the character design stuff that we talked about too, when they go in and there's that elf or whatever she is stuck in the wall.
Yeah.
That's a really pretty
awesome.
scene.
It's
It
really
looks
striking
really good.
shot.
That was one of those things you're sort of looking like, oh shit, that looks impressive.
And
whatever's
also,
happening, I don't understand it.
I
I don't get what's happening, but geez, it looks
some
nice.
sort of mural on the wall.
I do also love the fact that there's all those charred bodies.
Yeah,
and
and
they're
that's what you know,
basically just burned from the inside out.
Yeah.
That shit looks great.
Yeah.
And again, it's showcasing perhaps the power of whatever the weapon is.
Yeah.
And that half hour just sort of encapsulates everything. David Ayer specialises in sort of scuzzy shades of grey cops, like Training Day, for instance.
Although my biggest problem is, I liked that they put Will Smith over the barrel, and we're going to double cross him. And I thought that stuff was great, but there was no grey. Those guys were fuckwits from the get-go.
Yeah, they were never even going to turn. They were just there already.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, he always has that element of integrity, police integrity being questioned.
Yeah.
But in this case, I thought it worked because what you say is they had him over a barrel. Either you kill him, or we'll kill you both.
Yeah,
but we're taking the warrant.
I don't think that fits into the shades of grey for those characters, because I thought they
were pricks.
They were, especially that Ike Barinholtz or whatever his name is. I really like him as an actor, but he was just
awful.
Cardboard cutout. But the idea of seedy cops.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm fine with that, and I did like the whole. It sets it in motion. You have the choice to walk out and kill him, or we kill you.
Yeah.
And even though you know which way it's going to go, there are moments when you think, how is it going to go that way?
Yeah.
Because Smith is thinking about this.
Yeah, and he actually pulls his gun on him and says, and questions him about what happened.
Yeah, and it sort of forces the plot along a little bit between when the parts of the movie where there is a plot. They forces along the plot between Jacoby and Ward.
Well, his admission, which happens in that scene, of why he actually that he did let the guy go, and then why he did it, it changes the whole dynamic, because Will Smith's obviously like, oh shit, okay, there's actually a reason for it. He's come clean, and then they've got more of a chance to end up on the same team at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, it's just acrimony between like he's trying to keep Will Smith's character happy, and he just can't stand being around.
Yeah, and it gives you the sense of the position that he's in, because he's torn between, Will Smith and watching his back and trying to, get the guy that shot him.
Yeah, or guaranteeing a young, innocent person's murdered. Yeah, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where some of the commentary on race and stuff could have fit in.
Yeah, that's where I thought it was going.
Yeah, but it kind of just fumbled it away a little bit.
The next little part of the film, a couple of nice shootouts in a couple of places.
The car chase.
The car chase is there.
My favourite bit was the...
the taser.
Taser to the face. Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty impressive.
That was one of those things where I'm saying, I'm seeing a fairly standard action sequence, and I'm like, oh, shit, haven't seen that before. Or, memorably and recently.
One of those scenes, like you mentioned, the car chase thing was pretty cool. They had the proximity to the wand accident when they ran into the invisible wall. That looked really cool.
Yeah.
And then the nightclub scene, the tension in that, that's another one of those things you're like, fuck, how are they going to get out of this?
The gangbangers want the
wand. And Will Smith's trying to stand up to about 60 giant orcs, and he's clearly out of his depth, and he starts trying to go the aggressive angle. Not going to work out well.
They flog the shit out of it.
But there's a lot of tension in those scenes.
But I also like that. That's where that Training Day style twist comes in. And I kind of liked it. Like, it felt a little bit derivative because David Ayer is associated with both films.
Yeah.
But I think it worked enough because they threw in another late twist to it.
Yeah. It felt a little bit kind of, oh, look at this, I'm going to get you because you think I'm going to do the same twist. And I was a bit annoyed when I saw that. I was like, oh, come on, we've seen this. And then he put the other twist on it, which had its strength in that up until that point we hadn't seen what the wand could do. And that was the point where you're like, fuck, that's why they want it. But again, it was kind of felt a little bit like he was doing I'm going to get you here.
Yeah. I'd really like to know whether that sort of stuff is in the original script or not.
I'm saying
it had to be Ayer. It had to be.
It's so similar.
Yeah. It's very, very similar.
Unless Max Landis was doing a little bit of, hey, I've seen your movie and I'm going to do this.
Well, he supposedly wrote it with Ayer in mind
to
direct it. So I can see how it may have slipped in and subconsciously through the writing process.
Well, the reveal in Training Day, when that happens, when he's in the bathtub, they got the show, like that stuff, and then that comes back around and she saves him. In that movie, that was a powerful thing. It was really well done. And
because he's also going, I've got a family. He is shitting himself, and it really hits home in Training Day.
Yeah, it's definitely done better than in this. But if you've seen Training Day and you watch this, it just feels like for like. It sort of takes away from, this could probably have worked just as well almost.
Yeah, a little bit. But
it's so derivative.
I at least accepted it for what it was, and I think it works in the context of the movie.
Yeah. It's just a very specific plot device that happens to try and use it.
It's kind of weird that it kind of suddenly gets trotted out. The same director, roughly in the same area of the film. So,
it's almost exactly
has key sort of moment.
It's a big turning point.
It's kind of it just feels a little bit like it shouldn't be. It could have been skipped, or they could have done something else.
Yeah.
But I still feel it was a like because it kind of worked, and adding with the wand brought to the table, like that's really the key element of that whole sequence. Is the wand's power.
The wand is really
what
powerful.
It can actually do for you.
Yeah, here, have some, like, you're back to life.
Yeah. So I kind of accepted it for that. Other likes.
Just some of the characters you like, well, the groups of characters more specifically. You got the quasi like Latino gang, I guess, with the guy in the wheelchair as the lead. Then you've got the actual orc gangs, which are more like the gangbangers style thing, I guess, with the they sort of hang around in groups and just sort of generally misbehave. But the way they interact in some of the scenes is pretty effective.
Yeah,
like obviously the orcs have got like the physical power going. The other guys are probably a bit more with the guns and stuff. It just, the way they interact sort of works pretty well for the film, especially when they have that chase scene through the housing project sort of thing, and you've got sort of different gangs coming over from different angles, and it's just the three of them trying to escape. That sequence works pretty well.
I'm going to out myself as being not so bright here. I didn't see.
Sorry, you don't think we know that?
I didn't see Smith being a Bright. The more perceptive of us, as you both stated, picked it.
Well, it's like a dirty ass. It's in the first 15 minutes.
Well, the thing for me is I saw what you saw, but I looked at it and said that's too
obvious.
Too obvious.
They're trying to trick me.
I think, yeah, but they didn't mention Orcs as Brights.
Yes.
So I thought Edgerton was going to be the Bright, and then I thought that's a bit on the nose, like the one that everyone's shunning quickly turns to the shining star,
which happens anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking, that's where it's going to go, but so I didn't pick that up. I don't know why I've got it in the likes, really, to be honest, but it was the fact that I didn't see it. I thought, okay, for a second I thought, was that good writing? But I think you two have persuaded me that it's not. It's actually it seemed to me like when I saw that and they talked about it's 1 in a million, blah blah blah, and they didn't mention Orcs. That's what slapped me. I'm like, fuck, it's an Orc.
Yeah. So that was the thing for me that I was like, as soon as they said there was 1 in a million humans, I'm like, it's Will Smith.
Yeah,
that was it for me. I'm like, it's definitely him.
Yep. The other thing was that I did like, even though it was a little bit sentimental and cliched, I liked that Jacoby went back into the fire to get Ward. I was okay. I was good with the happy ending. Yeah. Because those two, the whole thing was their relationship was what was at stake, really. Yeah. So the fact that they were able to kind of move forward and, the acceptance was fucking Joel Edgerton's prize, I suppose, and it felt like it was that's the way it should have gone. So I was pretty
definitely
happy.
in line with his character.
Yeah.
Like, you'd expect him to do that. If he didn't, it would have been a betrayal of what they'd set him up to be.
Exactly, and I was pretty happy with the resolution of, okay, we're partners, So.
Yep.
Any other likes?
No.
Alright, well, dislikes for me, just in a general sense, my biggest problem is that they take chances by mashing the two genres together, so fantasy and police film. They take those chances and they get it to work out okay, but they take absolutely zero chances in plot.
Yeah.
Like, everything goes down exactly as I anticipated it would happen.
Yep.
And that included
Pretty
Smith
much.
being a Bright,
the redemption of
Jacoby. Everyone. Yeah, like it just went by the numbers, and to me, you have committed to mashing up these two genres that shouldn't be mashed together.
Yeah, do something with it.
Take chance.
Well, the whole thing with you're mashing things up like that. The whole idea is to subvert them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take some things that we don't expect.
Just take a chance on it.
Yeah.
Like, there's people saying this is the worst movie ever. So what? and you gave us a paint-by-numbers plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's formulaic.
Take it
it's
somewhere else.
Straight down the line. Like I was talking to you guys earlier about it. If you could start this movie, you get 15 minutes in and you can say, this is how I would expect this movie to end if they didn't give a shit about giving us a surprise, and that's what happens.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
The only surprise is that Jared didn't pick that Will Smith was a Bright.
Which isn't really a surprise.
But I'm sure the rest of it you knew was just coming down the pipe exactly where you would expect.
Well, the fact that Jacoby ends up being accepted because he's a hero at the end, like, that stuff is just so on the nose and obvious.
Well, put it this way, when Jacoby got shot, I was just waiting for him to come back.
Yeah. He's not dead. There's no way he's dead.
Yeah, everything was just okay. So what's next? Is it? Yep, it's what
Will Smith was shot. They put the seed of doubt that, look, Jacoby let that guy go.
Yeah.
But you knew he didn't.
You knew he wasn't a bad guy in whatever way it resolved. Because why would he have done that? He had a reason
How
to do
can
it.
they still stay together if he did do that?
Yeah.
You knew that wasn't going to happen. As soon as they found the wand, you knew the dirty cops were going to be involved.
How can they be lovers if they can't be friends?
Exactly. How can they stop? What is it?
How can they start over when the fight never ends?
Fight never ends. Thank you, Michael Bob.
Sorry, that was way too organic.
Oh, no. Well, at least you didn't go to one of his other songs, Can I Touch You There? Because if you did that, I think we'd be in trouble.
Well, given recent events, at least he asked. I think overall, it really botches the class and race stuff.
Yeah, it tries too hard.
It's a total non-event. They kind of botch it from two angles. As you said, they don't take any chance subverting the genres, but then they don't take a chance of making any sort of social commentary, which seemed like what it was going to be.
The first 15 minutes of the movie, they're ramming down your throat that this is about class and diversity and
well, they
gender
take
issues.
They take a detour through the land of opportunity.
Yeah,
which
and so
is-
they go through the slums, they go through the
The
elves with
elves,
the golden
yeah.
fucking guardrails.
But that goes nowhere.
yeah, you never even see it again.
And I mean, it's ham-fisted. I mean, the elves are all white, like, which is just kind of, you know, smash it over our heads. The orcs are the lower class, but then
Because they're wearing sports jackets.
yeah, they're
you
wearing
can tell.
sports jackets, and they're, you know, the
Gold chains.
They're the ones that write the graffiti about orcs and things on the wall. Like, it's just, it's too much.
Yeah.
But then when they have a chance to say something, they don't.
Yeah, it goes nowhere. Then there's no nuance to the setup of what
Yeah.
they got. It's trying to be like a political statement, and then it just quits halfway through because it's too hard, I think.
Yeah.
So I come back to, why do you do it if you didn't take that angle, or you didn't take what you said and say, hey, we're going to do like a classic scene that you would expect from a fantasy film, but then the LAPD busts in, or, you know, like, how would this scene play out if the police were involved in Lord of the Rings? Or,
Yeah.
you know, there's so much ground here that just got left.
But you had,
Uncovered.
I guess I'm not defending them because I agree. It should have been in there and it should have been more prevalent, especially in that early portion.
That's
of
what
the film.
excited me. That was immediately what was in my head.
Yeah. Because the movie becomes a chase film.
Yeah.
And once it becomes a chase film, that kind of gets pushed to the wayside.
Yeah.
But they don't even commit in that first half hour. When they
No.
should have committed to it, that was when they should have done it. They didn't bother.
Yeah.
They had the graffiti at the start. We saw a little bit of class by going into Elfland,
Yeah.
but that's it. We didn't really get anything more.
But at least you get the example of this movie's really strong, you know, awareness of what it's trying to do when you get Will Smith's line about the fairy lives don't matter today.
Yeah.
Man, that
That
just
was so heavy-handed and just...
disgraceful. A
If you're
prominent.
going to say something. Don't just throw in a
Yeah.
catchphrase to try and get attention like that. That
But
just
it was
doesn't make any sense.
so tone deaf, like a prominent African American actor making a joke of a
Yeah, the
line
Black
that
Lives
we all
Matter
know
line.
what
Yeah,
fucking
Black
what it
Lives Matter,
references.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just kind of like, man, that's really
It was
bad.
poor taste and just, yeah, it was
I'm
way
actually,
off.
you know, honestly, I'm actually surprised he agreed to say it.
I think he might have put it together, because it looks to me like Aya lets him go a little bit sometimes. I wouldn't be surprised if he came up with it.
I mean, no matter where it came from, it just seems like it wasn't.
Yeah,
It does sound like not necessarily the subject matter, but the way the line's delivered, it's very Will Smith.
very Will Smith. So maybe it was in there and he just put his own spin on it or
Yeah.
something like.
I don't know, but either way,
It's
that
hard to know,
line,
but it didn't feel right.
it was
to know.
jarring. That
Yeah.
line is just like you're like, wow, you've gone too far there, guys. That's not what that's supposed to be used for. Like, that's not what
Especially
that's
for
about.
a blockbuster sort of film that doesn't then deliver on its whole class race.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, then actually
element.
say something about it afterwards.
Yeah.
You don't even follow through.
And
The joke seems twice as bad.
Full disclosure, three middle-aged white guys here talking about this.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't feel like that's what anyone should be using that for. It's not a joke line to be joked about at the moment.
Yeah.
Just a correction, can we label him an old bastard yet?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
He's older than us, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's older than us.
I
so we
found
don't
some
point it out.
grey hairs in the beard.
Found,
recently.
mate. Look at the side of my head.
I know.
The silver wings are set in.
Oh, mate,
You look
yeah.
like George Clooney.
Yeah,
other than the
but
face.
Clooney, think about it.
Actually, sorry, you look
Thanks
like
very much.
You
Well,
look-
You look like George Clooney's asshole.
that's her.
I think there's too many characters
Yeah.
in the film because that's when it starts to get muddled. And for me personally, because I like police films, I felt that stuff worked, and the magical stuff put me, you know, that became more prominent. As the magic became more prominent, the less interested I became.
Yeah.
But see, that could have, to me, the magic group was fine for a stretch, but then they just weren't handled very well.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand.
Why aren't they the gang of crooks you're chasing? There's no difference between that. It's just that, as I said, it's the other way. So you've got this police procedural sort of stuff that you dig,
Yeah.
but the gang that you're chasing is elves. It's not the Latino gangbangers from Training Day.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, like they're present in
They're
these
peripheral.
things.
They're interested in it.
Yeah,
but
it's just how they're handled. And I think it sort of bridges into something that we mentioned before, and Gibbo had a lot to say about it, and we'll probably go to town on it. It's just that they don't establish what's special about anyone. They don't establish why everyone wants this wand. By the end of the movie, I still don't know why what are they called? The elf group are called the Firani or something like that. I still don't know what they're going to do with it. They don't establish rules around, or many of them. They just kind of leave all these things ambiguous. So it's not, to me, it's not that the magic stuff didn't work for that group. It's that they didn't kind of define it as such.
You need to have rules about what people or items or worlds are capable of, and there's just no definition of what, like you said, the wand does.
The Inferni. That's what
and maybe that was it. But I guess what I mean is I'm more heavily skewed towards the policing element.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the magic, because it was ham-fisted.
Yeah. But are you telling me?
Grab me.
Let me put it this way: that scene where they walked in and took out that family, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That was more interesting than anything recently that I can think of in anything where a gang of crooks bust in and do something.
Yeah.
Other than something like John Wick, but that's a little bit different. But then, as I said, they don't establish enough about who's doing what, who wants what they're going to do with it. But that scene where they busted in and they fucking just tear that family apart, and then Noomi Rapace walks in and sort of just says, you know, trying to find out what's going on. She was sufficiently intimidating and looked like she was running the show and did all that, but it wasn't so much that element. I think the writing just let all that down.
Yeah.
So it's because, to me, that's the strength of it. I get these scenes from Training Day, but instead of the standard old...
Yeah, I get something slightly mixed.
Get a fucking group of elves. And the scene in the mini-mart really played a bit more of that, where they've got... Okay, so Lucy Fry starts doing backflips and grabbing the wand, and then, what's his name? Noomi Rapace jumps over the car and then fucking flips over and slides along with the door. Yeah. I'm thinking that stuff's fine. Yeah. That all works really well, but it's just that down the stretch, I'm still like... Who the fuck are these people, really?
Yeah.
And why do they want it? What can it do for them?
Yeah.
Who's being brought back to life again? Yeah. The Dark Lord. Who is he?
Yeah,
well, that's the other issue too. Whatever the good guys, like Lucy Fry, obviously because she can handle it, whatever she has the wand, once we've seen what it does for Jacoby, all the stakes are out the window. Will Smith can be murdered. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
That's a problem going forward. Well, if she's got it, basically they can just get shot in gunfights and she just brings it back. Like that, they do try and do away with that when it obviously has an adverse effect on her and they have to put her in that pool or something. Yeah. But either way, it's still basically all the stakes just go out the window.
Yeah.
You lose any sort of issue about that sort of stuff. So
you mentioned this the other day too, and it made me think a bit more about it. But who's taking the chance of touching the wand?
Yeah.
Unless, like...
that guy got vaporised, but I might not. I'm 1 in a million. I'm going to have a crack at it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I crapped out on the lottery. I get struck by lightning.
I'm just not going near it. Because I'm thinking, if I'm one of the 999,000, I'm still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not going to touch the wand.
Yeah, and it went further for me because I thought about, okay, so that's where a guy like the gangbanger in the wheelchair could have been much more well defined. He could have just said, look at me.
Yeah.
I want my fucking knees back. Give me the wand.
Yeah, I will take the chance.
Yeah, so then
look at me, I'm currently in a bad situation.
Yeah, you've got that competing complication of, okay, so we escaped the Inferni, but oh fuck, here's old mate, you know, as they do in the club. But when you get there, it's still kind of like, hey, you're sitting there going, what are you going to do with it? Whereas that could have been a bit more defined. The Inferni, fuck, they could have told us something about what they were going to do with it. Because at the end of the movie, I mean, I finished watching it and I said to both of you guys, what was Noomi Rapace going to do with it? Was she going to raise the Dark Lord? Because it didn't seem like that's what she was going to do with it. She was gibbering, and I'm thinking, I think that's what she's going to try and do
Dark
with it.
Lord.
But they never define. Okay, they never say, the prophecies. And here's another commentary that was missed. I was looking at that, and they're talking about a prophecy from a book and someone that's going to come back. They're going to raise him with a magic wand, and I'm thinking they're taking the piss out of religion here.
Yeah.
Didn't really say anything more about it.
No.
And I just, the fact that at the end, I'm not sure. I could have done with a little bit of a James Bond villain effort from Noomi Rapace and say, I'm going to get that wand and then I'm going to do this with it.
And I'm going to twirl my mustache.
It was just a little bit, there was a lot of that missing that could have made it a lot stronger. Even without the commentary, you have a few more well-defined characters and a fucking end game, and the movie's all right.
Yeah. And look, as far as specific dislikes, Like, obviously, the general stuff is quite prominent. Like, and it's quite, there's a couple of really big ticket items. To me, the more sort of specific stuff, it opens with an absolute pet hate of mine, and you don't quote from fucking fictional text of a book that we don't even see.
Look, if Rob Zombie does it, don't do it.
It's bullshit. Like, why? Why are we doing it?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's not
because
even
it's
a good
one
quote.
line.
It's supposed to be poignant, and it's not. It's just it's nonsense.
So to me, you scrub that out.
Yeah.
It's not even worth having because
adds
we don't
nothing.
even get any sense of the text anyway.
No,
But
there's
yeah, we
nothing
get it.
relative
I
to
mean, it's rife throughout this shit. It's a bad quote. Then, as we said, we got a $90 million movie where the big bad was still called the Dark Lord. Like, nobody's called up Max and said, "Listen, mate, the 3.5 is in the bank, but we just wanted to check the Dark Lord. Is that a placeholder, or did you have a
happy
name
with
for it?"
that?
Are we married to this one?
Yeah.
I would have
Can we get rid of that?
preferred a bit of Expendables. Call him Verlaine or something stupid like
Yeah,
that.
Jean Verlaine.
Or Evilor or something stupid.
Skeletor. Can we go to Skeletor?
Yeah.
Some dumb shit like that, at least for me,
Look, I also found this to be kind of a cool idea, but every time I saw it, I laughed heartily. The fucking Minotaur or the Centaur, the Centaur cop. It's just the first time you see him, he's involved in a riot. He's rearing up. Oh God!
He's just kind of prancing around in the background though, as well. And you're like, is that guy also an outcast in the police force? That's what I want to know.
It's like,
I was expecting.
yeah, well, yeah.
I was expecting the horseback cops to be on the back of it.
Yeah, go on.
Giddy up, Steve.
No, I'm with you. So you got a problem with orcs, but you haven't got a problem with centaur cops?
The centaurs are majestic, mate.
He's also got the biggest dick in the force. Very popular with the female police officers. But I think it's just one of those things that they're like, what other mythical creatures can we pigeonhole in there? At one point you see a dragon in the background.
Yeah, you see a dragon.
You've got
what goes on at Melbourne Cup Day? Centaur Cup. You got any buddies in the race?
Mate,
You got any inside running?
He's 3-1 on. He's out of gate 7.
Yeah, Centaur cop. All the Centaur cops that are lined up for Melbourne Cup. But look, don't get me wrong, I like the idea of seeing the dragon just flying across the sky.
Yeah.
But again, I just felt, is this fucking Game of Thrones or what? Like, it kind of felt slightly too far.
It was a bridge too far.
It was one of those things where...
Because to me, Centaur Cop
Centaur Cop is a hard yes. That's like, perfect.
On its own, it's kind of... They're cool little Easter eggs, but when you think about the implications...
Oh, there's a dragon flying around just eating people, and we're worried about fucking race wars with orcs.
I was waiting for a large dragon poop to just drop into them. Take out one of the cars in a car chase. Dragon swoops over.
You guys got a problem with one orc cop. There's a fucking race of dragons wrecking the city. Yeah. I mean, come on.
It just feels like they just pigeonhole him in there just for the sake of letting you know you're in a mythical world. We got it, guys. There's fairies and orcs. We don't need a dragon.
Yeah, we didn't really need a dragon.
Centaur Cop, we did need. Definitely.
Centaur Cop is different.
I'll tell you what, though, Centaur Cop just shits wherever he likes to. There's no toilets.
You actually hit a good one too. There should have been Minotaur Cop. They should have been. Yeah, they should have had a siege, and here comes Minotaur Cop to bust the door down.
What about
1, 2, 3.
What about Cyclops Cop? No one wants him as a partner either. Watch my back. Is that a joke?
There's so much scope here. It should have been a fucking comedy.
I've got so many things forming in my head right now.
Shit.
The only other thing that I would say specifically that I felt was just superfluous was the end explanation of the entire film to Vidal Sassoon and Co. It's like, why do we have to explain what we just saw?
Yeah.
And secondly, they actually do have a sequence where he says that they're not going to be charged with the murder of those 4 officers because they were dirty.
Yeah.
So
don't think that's how that works.
Yeah. There's an internal investigation. Did you shoot these people? Yes, I shot them.
That's still murder.
Yes. But they explained the fact that they were not being charged and they were not in trouble for that. But then we cut to another sequence where where he's sitting there in the hospital explaining the whole situation.
So they're investigating.
We just saw the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
I
present
don't
for the whole
want
movie.
I remember it.
And I felt that the ending, because this all comes at the end, it's too by the numbers. Like, to me, the only thing that the end of the film should be is that Jacoby and Ward have become solid.
Yeah.
Not that
The lethal weapon effect.
he was blooded and Ward's now, loves the bloke and the whole force is giving him a bloody medal. No.
Yeah.
He should still have been he's still an outcast.
Look, I didn't mind the blooded thing because that was just a sort of throwaway moment, but it was kind of, it was okay, but yeah, it's sort of, they laid it on thick.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, how many times through the movie does he mention that he's not blooded because of all the shit he's done?
Yeah.
And then all he has to do is do his job as the thing that they hate as a police officer.
Yes.
And that's good enough to get him over the line as an orc? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so maybe the blooded stuff was fucking
It was stupid because to me, all it needed to be that him and Jacoby had a grudging respect for Jacoby and Ward had
that
a
group of
grudging
orcs still should have walked past at the end and given him the finger. And
All they needed was them to...
Centaur top comes past and he just runs.
Even just at the end of the sequence, they just have like a knowing look at each
Puts the
other.
pile next to him and fucks off. Centaur cop doesn't even like the bloke.
No one does. But all they need to do is Jacoby and Ward just have to look at each other after all that shit's gone down and just do like a knowing nod to each other, and you're like, sweet, they're good.
We
That's
know,
it.
that he has saved his life.
Yeah, he
And
acknowledges
there
that.
is a grudging respect between them, but it's not we're best mates.
I would have liked to see Centaur Cop at the ceremony though, because you can see him sort of buttoning up his lapel, but then getting a brush.
Not that one. I want the one that makes my coat look shiny.
Yeah, someone's brushed him and he's kicking into the wall.
Brave my mate.
Yeah, he's up the top. He's getting his hair sort of styled and everything, and in the background they're doing it.
Let me work up a lather.
Look, you've hit the nail on the head. How the fuck Centaur Cop in the organisation and they haven't got a problem with him, but they've got a problem with it all.
Gibbo mentioned if you're hung, you can get away with it a little bit.
I don't fuck with Steve in the showers, mate. But maybe the Centaurs are like
Imagine that you drop the soap, bend down here.
Copper. Oh, Steve!
Look, let's not get into a dick swinging comedy. Seriously.
Then you need to cast Kevin Bacon again.
Got it in there. Yeah, but even Bacon's outgunned.
Oh yeah, I hope so. You'd hope so.
Hey, tough Centaur, surely.
Maybe the Centaurs though in the Force are like the human shield. Like you said at the right, they're the first ones. It's like Operation Human Shield, send in the Centaurs.
Jesus Christ. He does need his own movie though. There's a story there.
Centaur Cop, I'm in. Who would you cast?
Bacon. Yeah, Kevin Bacon mixed with Mackay Diva or something.
So I've got a couple to get to. One of them's probably going to rankle you a little bit at it. So Tika being protected is one thing, but they continue to kill people and protect her at all costs without knowing anything.
That she's anything
They
important.
don't know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's no explanation for why.
it gets to a point where you need.
They
to
kind of
say-
go by faith. Like, Jacoby just says she's important.
Yeah,
Didn't break that.
Right, I need a little bit more than this.
Yeah. Listen, mate, I've just killed 4 people. I need.
Centaur Cop's important too. He's a beacon of hope, but I know this.
Beacon of hope.
He's the beacon, all right. He's got a beacon of hope.
All the kids are going down the street. Dad, when I grow up, I want to be Centaur Cop. It's not really possible. Let's put out twins.
But he's they kind of they know nothing more than they're sort of within this bubble, and that Leela. It was Layla, right? Leela.
Yeah.
And the wand are tethered, but they don't really seek to find any answers. They just sort of continue running, which again the sequence was all right, but it got to a point where I'm like, you need to find something out. And then she suddenly speaks English.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are. I had to bloody.
Yeah, I didn't trust you enough.
She was going through the fucking elf vetting process.
Yeah.
Or something. You guys are all right.
Yeah, we've been killing people for you for the last half hour, bitch. Maybe you give us a heads up.
Yeah, we've earned some bloody.
The bottom line is it kind of it's trying to sort of play the fast moving chase game.
Yeah.
But fails to give us the reasoning behind the protection of her.
Yeah, and
which
it's
then
problems.
undercuts the whole thing.
It sort of fits into stuff we've already spoken
Yeah.
about, but it bothered me a little bit. And my last one, which I know you're going to disagree with. You're going to disagree with. You're going to get rankled, but I've never disliked Will Smith more in a movie, and he did not cut it for me.
And I agree with you.
I think he was... There were scenes in it where I watched it and I'm like, Will Smith's not the cool guy anymore. He's not Mike Lowry anymore. Like he's just
not Alex Hitchens anymore.
Because I'm Mike Lowry.
Yeah, he was just trying too hard. I got very tired very quickly of him calling somebody bitch or telling them I'm going to fuck you up or some variation of.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Suicide Squad, I came out going, at least Will Smith was all right. I didn't mind him, but this was just it was too much. And I don't know whether it was him. I don't know whether he got a bit of leeway, and I just didn't like him.
The character wasn't likeable either because
no,
he holds a lot of other people to a certain standard that he doesn't meet.
Yeah,
and he's real dickish about it. Like you said, like I'm going to fuck everybody up shit.
Yeah.
That stuff gets very old very quickly, but it's just not a likeable guy.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of flaws.
There's a fine line of a flawed character that you can get on board with.
Yeah.
There's something there.
There's nothing redeeming about him.
No, there's very little to. When you're riding, when they're riding with, Ward and Jacoby, you're thinking...
And Centaur Cop.
Yeah.
Centaur Cop's off to the side. He's tethered to the car.
You're just thinking you're an arse, mate. You're an absolute arse, and I couldn't stand being around you. And that's kind of important when he's your big ticket guy. Joel Edgerton is the complete opposite. We really like him, but you're supposed to get on board with both of them.
I think the problem is a bit of both. I'm not rankled, so to speak.
You're rankled. I can see you're tensing up.
His hackles are up.
I can understand.
You look like you're about to rear up like Centaur Cop over there.
I think it's going to. It's 50-50 for both parts. He is not as charismatic in this movie because I think the character is poorly written, and they're trying to go with. He does not like this guy.
Yeah.
But they overdo it.
But even I look at Suicide Squad. Okay, he's not a good guy. No. He's an assassin. He's a fucking murderer for hire. But I look at it, and I look at him.
They gave us a little shade there.
Gave you a shade, a couple of gags. They showed him with the gang bosses early and how he's like fucking them over, and you kind of get a little bit of he's a bit of a rogue. There's things to like about him, and then obviously you've got the program that he's in, like Amanda Waller is the fucking queen bitch, and treating everyone like shit, so you're on board with Deadshot, okay? And Smith gets a couple of lines where you get that classic Smith charisma, couple of laughs, I'm in with this guy. There's opportunities here in the police locker room with Ike Barinholtz and co, who are just fucking despicable scumbags. I come out of that scene going, they are pieces of shit, and Will Smith is a fucking ballbag. I can't get on board with him.
One of them after that.
Yeah, you could have got like a couple of witty gags to catch them in something, and you're like, okay, I'm on board with Smith.
To me, it's overwritten into the gritty area.
Yeah, it goes past gritty into him just being a fuckwit.
Yeah, he just becomes a real fuckwit for some reason, and all that stuff about bitch and fucking you up and all that sort of stuff. That too much. Smells bad.
Yeah,
and then Smith can't.
There's a place for it. Some of it.
He's not in the. He's not. This isn't one of his finer performances. Yeah. So he's hamstrung even further because he's not radiating the charisma we normally get from.
Yeah, which is
there's a place for some of it, but it looks badly written when he keeps just going over that same old ground. But he does it to everybody. He's equal opportunity. He's a fuckwit to everybody.
So, go and watch After Earth.
I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Is it action? We could squeeze it in for the podcast.
No, it's not. It's definitely not action. It's a boredom procedural. That's what it is.
You thought about it.
Could we draw it in there?
No.
Could we make a link to it?
Guys, could we start up a Thrill Me sci-fi branch just to do it?
Jesus Christ. Well, if there's ever a reason, that's not it.
Okay. All right.
No, first one I'll cap off the rank there, Battlefield Earth.
Oh, yes. Semi-action. There's gunfire.
There is. There's gunfire. I don't care if it's one shot. It's
action
film.
It's in.
Any other dislikes, people?
No.
Yeah, pretty much got it covered there.
All right. We'll take a break, and we're going to do the Will Smith Olympics. Back in a sec. Okay, the Will Smith Olympics. We've currently done a number of actors.
4, maybe?
Oh, I think it's about 6.
Is it that many? Shit.
Yeah, we've done Stallone,
I still
Cage.
think it's in honour of the man. It's still just the Olympics, mate.
Still
It's the
Olympics.
first time.
Yeah, it's the Olympics.
Still Olympics. We've done Stallone, Cage, Seagal, Arnie.
How did Cage get in there?
How did Seagal do that?
I don't know how Cage got in there, but his resume was pretty bad.
So that's 4. Who else did we do?
We also did Bacon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So that's 5. Okay.
Bacon's currently the top
was an
dog in
honorary.
gold.
Yeah.
He got favourable treatment.
Who's the total leader in medals?
Stallone.
Right.
So,
that's correct.
so the man who started it all is still the
leader in the
current leader
So he's got total medals and Bacon's got most gold. Is that correct?
and biggest dick.
I think Stallone's record might be safe this evening.
Oh, maybe. But let's dive straight into it. Where the Day Takes You, 1992.
Not a movie.
His first race,
Not a real
professional race.
Yeah. Well, no.
Out of college.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro.
I was going to say this is a high school fucking sports car.
Yeah. Someone was there. A scout was at the school and just saw Will Smith fucking running to the toilet or something. That bloke, he's got a bit of pace.
Pretty decent game.
Mate, he ran pretty fast considering he was turtling.
Very dogging. No medal there, obviously.
Made in America, 1993. This is probably his first
Actual
legitimate race.
Yeah.
No medals.
He's on a scholarship here, and that's about it.
No medals. 6 Degrees of Separation, same year.
Boring.
It's not really.
He was pretty.
I believe
good,
he was pretty good.
He was alright.
It is no medal.
Okay, Bad Boys, 95.
That's a medal.
Yeah.
I think that's a. He's been at the Worlds.
Yeah.
No, not the
Or
Olympics.
indoors. Sorry, indoor meet.
World indoors. Okay. Yeah.
Indoor.
There's no tailwind, so
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't
So he
sound
probably
like
ran his
record.
best times in there.
Yeah.
I reckon that's probably a bronze.
Bronze for Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Bad Boys is iconic. That's some
Yeah,
Will Smith
I'll
shit
go a
right
little
there.
I
higher.
saw
I'll go a
it
little
again
higher.
recently.
But I haven't. So.
But
Gold.
Just in terms of the Will Smith like zeitgeist though, Bad Boys is a huge
Well, it
deal.
kind of made him. It put him on the map.
Yeah. I'm thinking silver. for
Silver.
Bad Boys.
Yeah, silver's fair. Yeah.
Silver, okay.
He's picked to the post.
1996, Olympic year, Independence Day.
Another really Will Smith movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, it's another one of those ones you can watch it now and you're like, oh.
Yeah, if you ask young me that went to saw it in the cinema, gold.
It's
Popcorn spilled all over itself.
It's not a good movie.
Probably a bronze.
It's a bronze,
at best,
maybe.
isn't it?
Yeah,
As a
it's
Will
got to
Smith.
get a medal.
Yeah,
Will
I
Smith
think it's got to
vehicle,
get a medal.
bronze.
Bronze.
Okay,
I'd
so,
rather watch Bad Boys again, put it that way.
so Will Smith gets his first Olympics. First Olympics
getting a little bit
gets a
excited.
bronze.
Sure.
Solid.
Yep.
Good start.
Yep.
Congratulations, William.
1997, so straight out of the Olympic year, Men in Black.
Oh, that might be the most Will Smith ever was Will Smithing.
Men in Black is an excellent movie.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think maybe a gold for Men in Black.
Is it still excellent? When was the last time you watched
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It
look,
is still
it's
pretty
still
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah.
Still holds
The
up.
gags hold up a lot.
Yeah.
Fine.
Special effects though, but you can't blame a movie for that.
No.
It just is from when it's from, you know?
Yes.
But it is a good movie. Still.
I reckon it's a gold.
Okay.
It's a winner.
Happy with that.
98,
Bit of a downturn.
Enemy of the State.
Oh no, okay. That's a very good movie.
This is one of my favourites.
I thought
from
it was
him.
an absolute winner.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the gold there.
We got to line this up because I haven't seen it in a long
I
time.
think he's
but
a
yeah,
bit of a purple patch
I would
there.
give it a gold. I could come out looking like a real dickhead.
No,
when I
I
review it.
believe
this one
it's
really holds
really,
up.
really good. This one.
It's no fugitive, but it's right up there. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, 99.
Here we go.
Things went a little bit off the rails. The big fella, he had a purple patch of medals.
And now he's ruptured his Achilles.
Basically, because he's in Wild Wild West.
Yes, that is one of the worst movies ever
My
made.
fucking leg fell off.
Oh,
Rupture it.
yeah.
If anyone thinks that Bright was bad, go back and watch
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
If people are pointing the finger at Bright as his worst
Yeah,
movie,
and then write a
fucking
letter of
way
apology
off.
to David Ayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we said that this ticked all the boxes, didn't it? Racism, sexism, and they made fun of disabled people.
Yeah.
Disabled people, yeah.
Right? Excellent.
Yeah.
Good job, fellas. Really well done.
Holy Trinity of
What I
fuckwits.
love about this is it shows that you can if you've got $100 million, you can get the biggest star in the world, in Will Smith. You can get Oscar winner Kevin Kline, and you can get renowned Shakespearean actor Kenneth Branagh on your fucking payroll to act like an absolute tool.
Jesus.
And Salma Hayek will show up.
Yeah, and she'll show up.
I'm telling you, Branagh got the call and started giggling and said to his agent, tell him to add 2 zeros. And that'll get him. And then
I'm interested for the money.
Yeah, they added 2 zeros. Okay. Let's do it.
They did they?
I'm sorry, did you say mechanical spider? Fuck.
So they had a great idea with those zeros on it.
Yeah, so you're saying they added 2 zeros? Oh. Did I say yes to that? Oh,
yes, Kenneth, you can build your own mechanical spider with this kind of money. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, 2000, Legendary Vega Vance, still struggling with his Achilles problem.
Yeah, come back, race. It's on the other.
He's on the other re-injury.
He's on both at the same time.
He's overcompensating for the Achilles. He does his other hamstring.
Yeah.
2001, Ali. He was very good in that.
Can't medal.
No,
but he was excellent.
Nothing 2.5 hours long can medal in my book.
He has busted his backside in a relay. He's run a PB in a relay,
and he got
but
himself
everybody
in
else fell over.
Superb shape.
Yeah, they dropped the baton.
Yeah.
Yeah. His anchor runner dropped the baton and then stood on it and fell over.
He runs like with a really exaggerated, and he kicks the baton out of his own hand before the finish line.
Yeah. 2002, Men in Black 2. He's had to come down. He's still running relays. He can't even get in. He can't even make. He's not even getting picked in teams for his key events.
This is the period where he's starting to question himself. He's in a relay, even his time's sluggish, but he's pointing fingers at everyone else and
he's in his own
remonstrating on the court, getting sent off the fucking field by the officials.
Yeah, he's DeMarcus Cousins.
He's become a bad boy on the track.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, no, that was poor. That one.
He's wearing an earring, all that sort of stuff. Bad Boys 2, 2003.
Also poor.
Still remonstrating, but it's getting worse.
Fuck.
Because look,
that movie sucks.
You know what? Bad Boys 2 is just a disgrace. It is, considering Bad Boys is still okay. Bad Boys 2 is a fucking...
Sounds like he's dropped his strides halfway and dropped on the track.
No, he's giving up.
If you ever want to make yourself cry, look at the compared budgets between Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2.
The first one was made for about $30 million, and the second one's made for $110.
Yeah, it's a fuck.
Oh, it's a fucking shit.
You know, with all the money they spent on the Transformers movies, didn't they reuse the car chase stuff from Bad Boys 2?
There's a lot of it.
No,
just
they bought Cuba.
Fucking robots in it.
They purchased Cuba and then blew it up. I think was basically what they did. 2004. Another Olympic year. We're in Athens. He's managed to get in on wildcards. iRobot.
Reputation.
I
didn't mind iRobot.
iRobot. I'm going right out on a limb. iRobot's a goal for me.
Ooh.
I reckon if I have to watch a Will Smith film, iRobot.
I've seen iRobot.
You are the coach that's going to get fucking walked after the Olympics. If you think that's a gold, you pick the dud runner, mate.
iRobot's
silver.
Silver
Tops. Silver for iRobot.
Silver tops.
So I prefer Iron
Don't
Legend.
cave to his shit. Jesus.
iRobot was decent.
Be your own man. Okay, bronze. No, look, silver's fair because I think it is a good movie, and I do like Alex Proyas, but it's not. I mean, I've seen it like twice and haven't fucking gone back to it in about 10 years.
But I go back to it all the time, so let's go. Okay. Shark Tale? No.
It's not really,
that was also at Athens, so he was running a relay at 100.
He's tried to cross over the swimming. Didn't qualify, sorry.
He's no decathlete. You can't really grade him on that movie. Like, that movie's fine.
No, you know what? Shark Tale's a fucking steeplechase. He decided to go from 100 metre sprints to fucking 3,000 steeplechase and fell on his ass.
Yeah.
Hitch, 2005.
Oh, no.
Golf here?
It's a fucking but it is a guilty pleasure of mine.
It would be.
And the bloke does some heavy lifting with Kevin James.
He makes Kevin James look less like Kevin James. That's a win.
He made Kevin James a star. He did.
Yeah.
Because this movie is a hit. This movie's a hit.
Yeah.
And Will Smith, he was in the peak of his powers with his charisma.
Yeah, but Kevin James already had an inexplicably successful sitcom at this point.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was popular for reasons. I don't know what they are.
I watched it a couple of times and thought,
is that the same as...
can we get more Jerry Stiller?
It's the same
is that the same as Jim Belushi having a TV show that went for 10 years?
Yes. And Roseanne Barr.
According to Jim?
They're all the same
It used to pop up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was pissed.
I come home from the uni bar
pissed.
shit faced. Oh shit, it's according to Jim. It would be either that or shouts to McNasty. I used to love digging into those sort of things late at night.
You're a sick man, Joe.
When I came home from hard night and piss, I thought bloody Jim Belushi was the funniest bloke in the world.
You're both sick.
You're the reason we went for 10 years.
He's got a lot to answer for, doesn't he?
Okay, 06, Pursuit of Happiness. It's not a medal, but it's a final. It's
It was trying to be a big deal, and it was just.
But he does a great job.
Another solid
It's well
performance.
acted. It's just boring.
Decent movie,
Not a
but
great
not a
deal,
great.
acting.
Yeah, not a great.
And they spell happiness wrong in the title, which bugs the shit out of me. It's INS, you dickheads. Like, just
Thanks
go
for that.
I
away.
believe there's a reason for that in the film, but no,
I don't care. It bugs me.
Okay, 2007. I think he's back on some really solid ground here. His Achilles' were now both solid. I Am Legend.
Gold. It's my preference out of the two. Out of iRobot and I Am Legend. I love I Am Legend.
I Am Legend, really great movie.
And he does. You want to talk about heavy lifting? He makes mannequins be people in that.
Are you
one.
two going to fucking gang up and sway me now? Or?
I think it's gold too.
Ooh.
I think you've got me covered.
Good, because
for the
it's
record,
majority.
For the record, I would go silver. He is fantastic, but the whole movie just comes apart at the seams at the end. The
ending is
stupid.
a bit interesting.
And it's on record that they had a fantastic ending.
Yeah,
Film.
different ending that would have worked out.
Or better ending filmed, you know, that more thought provoking and stuff that probably would have topped it off. And
I just love watching the movie though.
They cut corners.
He's
not long ago,
fantastic.
and
He's
it's
fantastic.
It's a good watch.
And he's having that almost a solo gig, like, performing with a dog and making that stuff when the dog's dying into fucking gut wrenching stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
But even that, and then, but it's one of those movies that does a really good job of creating tension.
Yeah.
Where a lot of like lower horror movies should just go, okay, that's all you have to do. It's this simple. Just make there be a threat and put him in a situation that's dangerous. You don't have to have fake jump scares.
Yeah.
That movie does a lot of really good stuff with the threat with the light.
yeah.
All that. I just loved it when it came out.
Okay, my arm's twisted.
Gold.
It's gold, but yeah.
It's not a perfect movie, but I just loved it.
Hancock, 2008.
Really enjoyable, funny movie to watch, but it's not a medal.
It's. He was back in the Olympics, probably his final one. He was basically brought on as a consultant.
Fading star.
100-metre consultant.
He's Michael Johnson in this
I
one.
think I said this previously. This one really grates me because there's a world in which this is Will Smith's best movie. Like, it's a rock solid idea that just goes to absolute shit at the end.
It's got some real peaks and valleys.
Wasn't
that's
Vince
for sure.
Gilligan involved too?
Yeah, I think so.
Where?
Really good
He wrote
cast.
it, I think.
What?
Really good cast. Really sound idea of what is.
He might not have written it. He might have done the screenplay. The original story was by someone else.
Yeah, but that's the idea of what if Superman didn't want to be fucking Superman is great, and it is really good for a stretch, and then just didn't
Okay,
quite
he was
reach
in 2 events in 2008. His final swan song. He was also in 7 Pounds.
it. Saw that.
Definitely not. I like the idea. I liked where they were going with it, but it just was not
Yeah.
particularly engaging.
Didn't I say to you it took too long to get there? We should have been £1 and not 7.
There should have been a quarter pounder. 7 pounds is too much burger for this movie.
Men in Black 3, 2012.
No,
he
thanks.
took a 4-year hiatus.
Yeah, he should have stayed on it.
Yeah,
Yep.
this was not the movie to get him back, but you can see how he takes it because it's a sequel and it was going to make a shitload
And
of
make
money,
money.
and it did.
Mm.
Yeah.
Money fight.
After Earth,
Mate. You guys haven't seen it? I'll tell you right now, one of the worst movies of all
mate, it'll
time.
be covered by the Filming Podcast Sci-Fi Up.
I will not.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Even Shyamalan should be ashamed. Like, it's not even. At least his movies are what they are. This is not a Shyamalan movie.
You should have been making The Happening 2 or something.
Yeah, but all the other
Shyamalan-
directors said no, and Will Smith's like, well, Shyamalan's fucking desperate. We'll make him do it. And he's like, I won't even have any input. I'll
Shyamalan
just
was
name
pretty desperate then because
he's
he had
back
a
on top now, mate.
He's back now.
he's back on top now. But you know what? He's never captured anywhere near his
None
first
of his
two films.
movies look
The
less
first
like
two
one of his
films are
movies
still
than that one.
great.
Well, Unbreakable.
Unbreakable is
fucking
phenomenal.
excellent.
Love Unbreakable. I actually enjoy Signs still. It's got some good
Signs
stuff.
was okay, but it was just
The
showing
Village
signs
pissed
of
me
fun.
off no
Village.
end.
Yeah.
When I saw the trailer for that, I'm like, fuck, that looks so cool. And then you watch it, and the whole thing behind that, you're like, fuck you, mate.
Speaking of Unbreakable, just in the Olympics realm, I think Willis might have a pretty good case to.
Willis is going to be a
He's
threat.
going to be really.
Willis
He might top
I'm a huge
Bacon
Willis.
because he's got some real
He's
gems
one
in
of these
there.
blokes where we're just going to have to begrudgingly hand out golds to the arsehole left, right, and centre.
But he'll probably
he's-
contact us and say, oh, $4 million for 4 days.
Plus, he's got some
He's an
high
arsehole.
stuff.
He's a talented arsehole.
He's got things like striking distance and die hard fire. They'll really help him medal.
I'll get him into medals.
Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Hawk.
Let's get off him
we
right
do
now. Let's stop. Hey?
We'll do
No.
Hudson Hawk next
Shut
week.
your mouth.
Well, you guys are going to be loose on your own. You can do whatever you
You
like.
just gave me a great idea, though.
Okay.
Wheelers week.
Anchorman 2, Legend Continues. That's a cameo.
Doesn't count. Yeah, doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
And it's
Winter's
not
Tale,
funny.
I think that is actually kind of a cameo as well.
Which one?
Winter's Tale.
I haven't seen it. I've seen Winter's Bone. Have you not seen Winter's Bone? It's Jennifer Lawrence.
So you've seen its bone, not its tail.
It's Jennifer Lawrence's first movie. It's actually a really good movie. Look, you guys are so
I
in the
know you, so my mind immediately went elsewhere.
two people just rolling around in the snow with their clothes on. It's Jennifer Lawrence's first movie, man. Check it out. It's pretty good.
Right. Okay.
Focus. 2015.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's pretty by the numbers, generic shit.
It's not. It's not great. Is
He's
it?
not the best part of the movie. I think
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie's the best part of that movie for mine. No medal.
No medal. No, it's not even the final, mate. That's
It's
not even
just a
the semi.
generic Will Smith vehicle.
Probably quarters.
He gets to Will Smithy's face off.
I mean, by this stage, the guy is running around like he's that old asshole's here again. Yeah, he's still.
it's actually a lot like Hitch, but just with
He's
like
been on the comeback rail for 10 years now. Unfortunately.
This guy's knees are fucked. Get him out of here.
And if we're talking about bullshit plot twists, that movie is rife with them.
Okay, Concussion.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not a medal though.
It's probably the closest out of a lot the last couple we've had. Like it's probably verging on a bronze, but I'm not like it has to be something.
Suicide Squad.
No,
Gold.
no, no.
Suicide Squad's the one where he's done he's come up with some unsportsmanlike act where everyone else is calling his fellow competitors and going, get rid of him.
Yeah, no, he's shit in the pool.
Yeah, he bogged in the pool and now everyone wants the money.
That was a beloved
Chucky-
character, and you shit in the pool. Thanks.
Collateral Beauty.
I haven't seen it yet.
I hear it's terrible.
I hear it's another one of those ones that's trying to do big things.
I mean,
and it's
that's
just
diarrhea in the pool. I believe that's how it's been.
not. Scattergun.
He's just making a mockery of the bloody thing now.
It's because they wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him transition from 100-metre sprints to 100-metre swimming. So he's trying to go around.
I will watch it because it's on one of the.
Stan?
I think it's on Stan.
Pretty
Stan.
sure, yeah, I think it's Stan.
So I'll check it out, but I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment.
They're going for the low
Look,
hanging fruit
let's
at the
look back.
moment.
Let's quickly recap. He's got 2 silver, 3 gold, and a bronze. It's actually surprisingly lean,
Yeah.
For a
considering.
man of his stature,
Yes.
the stretch there. And
I think if you put him up against, let's say, Cage, Seagal, some of the lesser lights,
Well, he's just not in their league, is he?
even Arnie, you'd probably say that Smith he's probably a little more consistent in terms of the movies as opposed to someone like fucking Arnie who went up and down like you wouldn't believe.
I want to
same with
revise and
Cage.
give Jingle All the Way a gold, just quietly.
But he's really only he's only got 6 medals.
Yeah. Feels right, though.
It does feel right.
Because none of the ones that we said no feel like they should have been a yes.
He was
See,
always interested in making bank, and then he had a couple of, I'm
Yeah.
going to jump into the serious things, and then they flopped, and he sort of...
Yeah, well, look at it. Men in Black 2, Bad Boys 2, Hitch, Pursuit of Happiness, they were all hits. It's just that they're not
Good.
great films.
Succinct, to the point, as always.
So Smith does not topple Bacon. Nowhere near it.
No one topples the tripod. He's got so much support.
We have laced this bloody thing with Bacon jokes across the board. We need to take a break from Bacon. All right. So that is Will Smith Olympics and Bright covered. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au if you want us to cover a certain movie or just drop us a line. Like us on Facebook, Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com or on iTunes. If you can rate and review, that would be fantastic. Next episode, we're going back to Slasher Town. I've come up with this, so
Thanks very much.
We're probably in a world of pain.
Yeah.
I still know you're a wanker.
We recently covered the original. I Know What You Did Last Summer. We're going to be finishing off the sequel. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.